Yeah, that's just not a basketball play, but, got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level.
This was Caitlin Clark's post-game response to Carter shoulder bumping her during a game between Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. This foul on Caitlin Clark might not be the worst in the WNBA, however there is a major likelihood that the WNBA might not see fouls like this subsequently. In a WNBA game between Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever's Clark was shoved to the floor by Chicago Sky's Carter. This shoulder check didn't really get the attention of the referee. It was treated like a common foul, but based on the responses that it elicited, the WNBA no longer sees it as just a common foul. But what really happened? The game between the Chicago Sky and the Indiana Fever was going on quite well, like every other game in the league. Of course, it was heated, but this wasn't unexpected. Well, things were pretty much going according to plan until one player decided to attract more attention than she really needed. In an unnecessarily bold move, Carter took out Clark without any real reason. If Carter simply hit Clark with a small nodge, maybe this video wouldn't even exist. Well, she wanted to make unnecessary contact, and she didn't think a slight touch was good enough, so she went for an all-out shoulder bump. This bump was so hard it pushed Clark to the floor. Everyone in the arena, fans and commentators, were stunned. They clearly didn't see this one coming. The fans thought this a little too much. But it's interesting how the referee didn't see things from the perspective of the fans. The scene was so tense that fans expected the referee to call this move a major foul. Sadly, that wasn't what happened. The game eventually ended and Carter was asked questions about the foul. Well, quite as expected, she refused to give any answers to questions about her shoving an opponent. She perhaps knew the question was some type of attempt to nail her. You see, Carter might have gotten a momentary escape by refusing to answer any questions about the foul, but all she really got was a momentary escape. After this game, social media was on fire, and as you might have guessed, no one thought they needed to speak in favor of Carter, which was the reason for the unpleasant memories associated with the game. Former players and fans took to X to talk about Carter's unnecessary shove at Clark, and as you might have expected, no one really spoke in favor of Carter. Social media was filled with defenses for Clark and condemnations for Carter. The move to defend Clark on social media was so big it grew into various hashtags, and two of these hashtags trended for quite a bit: Justice for Caitlin and Protect Clark. Initially, it seemed like members of the public were simply looking to air their grievances, and things would be back to normal in no time. However, that wasn't what happened. It soon became apparent that members of the public weren't backing down until they got to the bottom of things. Although the fans were the most vocal about the fact that something needed to be done about the incident between Carter and Clark, they weren't the only ones that thought so. Quite a number of veterans also lent their voices to the issue. If the referee had given Carter's shove of Clark the attention it deserved, it obviously wouldn't have created a buzz, but in the absence of the right level of attention, it led to a lot of anger from the fans. As the fans getting angry cannot be downplayed, it birthed talks about the importance of protecting top players in the WNBA. Now, if the referee had labeled Carter's bump on Clark a foul, there wouldn't have been questions about how much the league was doing to protect star players. However, since there was little to no support from the referee after a foul on Clark, there were lots of questions about what the league was doing to ensure its star players were protected. Well, at this point, the reputation of the league was at stake, so it had no choice but to upgrade Carter's foul, although doing this made quite a statement. Waiting until there was a major backlash from the fans before making a move wasn't very good. It came out at a time that many fans considered a little late. You see, if there was a policy for protecting star players, Clark wouldn't have been shoved, and perhaps we wouldn't be having this conversation. So, the fact that she got shoved for no reason shows how little the league does to protect its players. The apparent lack of protection by the league for its star players isn't something that the fans are comfortable with. Well, you might want to sweep the discomfort of the fans under the rug, because they may have no idea what it feels like to be on the court. Well, the same cannot be done for veterans who know exactly what it feels like to be on the court and know when the players are not getting protected. Well, Some of them knew what they had to face in their playing days, and a handful do not think it is something other players should face. The veterans in support of Clark went to great lengths to speak up about her protection. They showed her a lot of support on social media. However, some even went beyond social media and did interviews. Now, having so many people support Clark might make you assume the entire basketball world supports her. Well, that wasn't exactly the case. There is a group of people who believe Clark knew what she was getting into when she decided to be an opponent of the WNBA, and that tough hits are a major part of the WNBA. This group of people feel Clark might be new to the idea of being pushed around, but that she would get used to it. Although the entire WNBA universe seemed to come out to speak up for Clark, it appeared her teammates were scared of airing their opinions. Clark's teammates perhaps wouldn't have been able to alter the referee's decision. However, they could have shown solidarity the moment she was hit. This could have done a lot, and the least was that it could have helped her feel better protected. But it's surprising how she was isolated by her teammates. No one rushed to the scene to ensure that she was fine. If this is anything to go by, the entire blame shouldn't be on the referee and the league for not offering ample protection. Her teammates too should share in the blame. There are arguments about Clark not being the only player to have faced unnecessary pushes in the game. Well, there might be some truth in this, but the lady is just 22, and letting her get exposed to unnecessary fouls is bad for both her and her team. Carter's unprovoked shove at Clark clearly brought about several responses, and most of them, as you might have expected, were quite extreme. The majority of people felt she wasn't properly protected, but another group felt she had to get used to what the league threw at her. Well, unlike most people who only saw things from one perspective, Commissioner Adam Silver saw things quite differently. In his words, it is a "welcome to the league" scenario, nothing new in basketball. First, he considers the foul on Clark as one that every star player will go through, and it's just that moment that welcomes her to the league. At this point, you are probably of the opinion that Silver is in support of Carter. Well, you would be wrong if this is what you think. He is not in support of Carter's actions. He simply means the WNBA is rough, and for players to go on to become established, they have to face some unpleasant moments like the one Clark faced. Of course, not many people are comfortable with the roughness of the WNBA, but this roughness shows the level of competition in the league. Although Commissioner Adam Silver made it clear that Clark getting shoulder bumps was simply a part of the WNBA, he also went on to make it clear that young players still need to be protected from being on the receiving end of unnecessary fouls. In the end, Carter's actions towards Clark might not be the best for the 22-year-old. However, it is good for the league as situations like this attract more media attention, which in turn makes the WNBA more relevant. This is exactly what Chris Broussard thinks.
But ultimately, this is great for the league. This is great for the league. We haven't talked much WNBA. A lot of shows that don't talk WNBA are talking it now. People are going to tune in just for this angst and these storylines, so it's great.
While relevance is good, WNBA's greatest assets are its stars. So what do you think? Should there be increased protection for the stars, which ensures continuity in the league, or should things be allowed to continue the way they are? Kindly tell us what you think in the comment section below. Before moving on, kindly like and share this video. Also subscribe to this channel if you are new to it. See you in the next video.